Kersti Pitre. Hey guys, what's up? It's time to get into these knotless braids. So today I'm going to be using Jamaican black castor oil. I'm going to be using some gel from Lovely Bees. You guys can find this online. I'll link it down below. I'm going to be using a rat tail comb from Braid Barbie, some scissors. I'll also be using maybe 4.5 packets of braiding hair to actually do these knotless braids. Now you guys already know I use my braid rack whenever I do any type of braids. It just helps to improve on speed, keep the hair organized, actually helps you to keep your braids a little more uniform too. You know, sometimes when you're doing your braids, you got one that's bigger than the other. So this just helps to alleviate all of those problems. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so to begin, you're going to make your parts for your knotless braids on your clean, blow-dried hair. Next, you're going to separate it into 3 or 4 or 5 sections, depending on how big or small your head is. I'm using 3. Now I'm going to be using the Lovely Bees Edge Control as my gel. You guys know I do use Edge Booster sometimes, but sometimes Edge Booster or Style Factor, it leaves a little bit of a flake. So I'm using Lovely Bees Edge Control, and as you can see, I started off with my real hair. This is the first piece, and I just add it in underneath, and I do those 3 movements, and then I'm just gonna follow up again with 3 movements. Now, for each of these braids that I did, I used 4 pieces of braiding hair. Now, I will say this, I did start out a little bit smaller in the back, and that was strictly because I wanted my parts just a little bit smaller back there, but the braid just a little bit bigger. So in the front though, I did get 2 big parts, and that was just simply because I wanted to see how that size would actually look on me and how it would last. So I kind of did a little bit of experimenting with this knotless braid style, but I'm totally fine with that. That's one of the benefits of doing your own hair. You can experiment, see what works, what you like, what you don't like, and what type of reactions people give you on your hair. So yeah, that was it. So now I'm gonna give you guys an up close view of how to do a knotless braid. Let's get into it. When you're doing your square parts for your knotless braids, you want to make sure they're overlapping. So you see I had 3 on the first row, 4 or 5 on the next row, and this next row, which I started above, is definitely going to have more than 8. And I just continue on with that U-shaped pattern until I get to the top. And I just want to show you guys, when you're parting your hair, once you gradually get closer to the top, try to part directly down the middle of that part. And then once you part down the middle, you're going to go ahead and work on one half and then work your way to the other side. So here's our up close. Starting off, you're going to make sure your hair is fully detangled. You're going to take your gel or your edge control or your wax, whatever you want to use to hold your hair. You're going to take a little bit of that product and apply it to that section that will be your knotless braid. I apply it around the entire perimeter and I drag it all the way down to the end. So here we go. This is step 1. Separate it into 3 sections. Step 2. Begin a braid. Here we go. Slip your first piece of hair in. This is how you want to hold it. And you're going to slip it right here between your thumb and your finger. Right here. You see that? Slip it in right there. Easy. So here we go. Take your hair, slip it in. And then you just let it go. Once you slip it in, you just let it go. And then you begin your braid. There you go. Easy as that. Now, don't let go. You want to go ahead and add in your next piece of hair. We're slipping it in the exact same way. Again, I told you guys I added about 4 pieces. So you want to make sure that you follow that same step for each piece. And then, you know, your braid is going to come out beautiful. Now, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're using your ring finger. If you could see, my ring finger is actually holding down at the base of that braid, just to make sure no hair is slipping as I'm adding it. That's something we can go over later in another video, but voila, here is my knotless braid. Check it out. Let's get up close and personal so you guys can see what this thing is looking like. You guys will see my braid is not twisting. That's because I added the right amount of hair. And not only did I add the right amount of hair, I added the same size hair. And the beginning of my braid, it starts small, right, with my natural hair. Then that first piece of extension hair I'm adding is small. Then the next 3 pieces are slightly bigger than each other. Now all I did here was take my rat tail comb. I combed my hair and this extension hair together. That's just going to help everything to smooth and blend very well. And this is how I'm braiding it down. Just giving you guys a real-time, slowed down version of how to braid it down once you've already added your hair. This is actually what takes the longest for me when it comes to knotless braids. I can add in those pieces easy, but when it comes to this part, oh my gosh, it takes me hours. Now, something you guys will know is that you want to make sure you braid your braids to the very end, just like you would a normal box braid. You can add curly ends, you can add whatever you want to make it, you know, a little bit different. You can braid them, make it crinkly, but you just want to make sure you braid it all the way to the end. And I will tell you a secret, I do not always stretch my hair when I do my knotless braids, and that's just because as I'm adding it in, it kind of staggers the hair and ends up being this tapered look. Now I know this looks gross, but because these braids are so long, I didn't want it pulling on my edges. I put some of that braid in my mouth and I braid it down. I'm going to be using this pink lustrous glosser. This is basically like an oil sheen in a way, and I love this stuff. This is the end of my bottle, and I spray it on my scalp. You want to move the braids out the way, spray it on those parts, spray it on the braiding hair. This is undipped hair, so I spray it right before I dip it, and it somehow it just seals in the moisture and it prevents the hair from frizzing. This will help so much. Now, alongside with using a glosser, you want to use a mousse. Now, for my kinkier girls who have super kinky hair that's going to revert, maybe you can skip the step of a mousse. But if you're going to use a mousse, you've got to wrap it down and then you've got to put some heat on it so it sets. Otherwise, you're just going to walk around with reverted roots. Now, I'm just applying the mousse all the way. I'm applying the mousse on my scalp, and then I'm going to actually apply the mousse also on the ends of my hair, of my braids, and then I'm just going to drag it through. And this is just, again, to reduce frizz. It's to set the look, make sure it looks nice and clean. Now, I'm gonna dip my hair, but I do this before I dip. Just wanted you guys to see. That is the end of this video, you guys. Believe it or not, I lost all of the footage of me showing off my hair, so please enjoy these photos because I did. Now, make sure if you guys enjoyed this content to hit that subscribe button and the like button. Now, also comment down below in the comment section anything you understood or didn't understand about beginning your knotless braids. You guys are going to thank me later when you're saving $400 for your knotless braids, all right? So remember, drop a comment, let me know if you understood or if you didn't. Happy New Year to you all, and thank you for your support. Bye.